Happy Sunday, Sooner Nation, Surgeaholics. It's 9:30. That means it's Sooner Surge
Yes.
podcast time. The podcast that tells it like it is, and the podcast that allows you to tell it like it is. You want to call in and be positive? Bring it. You want to call in and be negative? Bring it. Keep it clean, non-vulgar. We're here for it. Look, I see comments are rolling in, Jay, and of course, everyone's spouting names of Brandon Hall or Wes Goodwin. We get it. I'm sure we're going to address it. I think the big news today, because the Zac Alley stuff was yesterday, the big news today was they lose someone in the portal, and that's Lewis Carter, who is going to probably play a lot next year. Maybe not start, but he was going to be on the field a lot.
It's a big loss because he's a really good talent. And yeah, Aaron, glad to be back, baby. I'm glad to be back where I can be in front of y'all and not just on a bad signal. And it's good to be back. But Jerm, let's talk about Lewis Carter entering the portal. Who knows if anybody else will? I don't know, Jerm. That remains to be seen. And I saw the question from Bobby asking about it. Yeah, guys, I know there's a lot of talk out there about who's going to be the next DC. Who's it going to be? I don't think it matters. Because I think Brent Venables, just like he did this past year with Zac Alley, had most of the control of the defense. I think that's part of the deal is he's not going to relinquish that. And I think that's probably why Alley took the West Virginia thing.
And it's could be speculation. But
I know. I'm just saying, like, whoever they bring in, do you really feel like they're going to bring in somebody that's – because whoever they bring in is going to be Brent Venables' defensive scheme, right?
Correct.
So it's probably going to be mostly Brent Venables guiding that ship. I think what you're going to get this year, this is my guess on December 29th, no matter who they hire, you're going to get what they had 2 years ago. You had Lebby at offense. They're going to have a pretty good – I think they're going to have a good offense with Arbuckle. And then you're going to get defensively what they had that year, which was – I think it might be a little – it could be up and down. I don't know. I think you're going to get the same thing that you basically reverted back to 2 years. The whole thing was you brought in Alley to kind of not be more of a head coach for Brent Venables. But now I feel like if they're hiring another new coach and a new coordinator, aren't they going to go back to where he can't really be a full head coach? He's going to be over. I mean, I don't know. I just
and that's why, Jay, and that's why the names that are mentioned, whether it's Wes Goodwin or Brandon Hall or Todd Bates, they're all the same. They're all the exact same, Jay, because Brent Venables is going to call it. And guys, I'm going to be pretty vocal right now about Wes Goodwin. There's one good thing, in my opinion, about Wes Goodwin. He's been around Chavis, Skaliski, Bates, Venables. He's been around them all. To me, this year he didn't call a great defense. Now he was an analyst for Clemson during the golden years. I'm not saying he can't coach. I'm just, if they're going to let him come in and call the defense, I don't see that happening. And furthermore, like Clyde said, in the end, BV's going either staying for another year after next year because they play really well, or he's gone. So I guess if he's going out, I guess he's going to go out calling the defense.
Hey, and I see the thing Sooner fan put on there that Gabe Eichert said. That's pretty much my point. He was going to work for Rich Rod because he's not being able to do probably what he wants to do at OU. That's kind of the way I take that. Is like, I liked working with Rich Rod better because maybe he gave me more freedom. I don't know. But hey, and I saw Bobby say, why hire somebody? Bobby, I'm almost under agreement with you here.
I am. Promote Brandon Hall.
No, I don't even know if you need to promote anyone to you can promote him in title, but we all know who's going to be calling the defense next year.
Yeah, I don't think you have to bring anyone in, Jay.
It's going to be Brent Venables calling the defense.
I agree with that.
Even if they bring somebody in, right?
Correct.
So why do it?
Hey, Chester, I don't like that Zac Alley left. I'm be point blank. I don't like it. I was high on him. But one thing I think we can say is how much of it was he even calling? And that's, I mean, how much was he doing? I think there are some things he was doing. I think the linebackers loved having his energy around. Hey, and anyone who's going to sit here and say that the loss of Lewis Carter's a minuscule deal is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
that's a loss. That's a loss. And Tyler, I think the linebacker coach would be I can't pronounce his name, James Skaliski. And yeah, OU basketball, unbelievable start. It really starts next Saturday
It
at Alabama.
starts next Saturday.
Starts next Saturday. Hey,
you win that one, watch out.
Hey, I want to get to something. Let me see if I can find it, Jerem. This right here from Talon. Do y'all think Saban and Smart relinquished complete control of their scheme? Well, Talon, I'll say this. I think Dan Lanning pretty much called everything when he was the DC there.
Hey, Jay.
Hey, listen, real quick. You can relinquish control, but still have a little bit of control. I feel like it's more Zac. I think you can relinquish control without calling every play call on defense. But it's a fact that everybody's worked with people that it's like you feel like they're not really. I don't know. I don't know how to put it except like not really able to do this. Somebody's always telling me I want to do this way. I don't know. I don't want to make.
Can we rewind real quick to last year? Because last year at this time, Ted Roof was out. Okay, the only reason Ted Roof was out and they brought Zac Alley in was so BB could be the quote CEO and get his hands in what the offense was doing, because it was like he can't do both. Now let's retract that, because there are guys like Jay. I don't know if you know who the OC is at Texas is or the OC at USC is, but all that's going to happen is it's going to go back to now BV being in charge of the defense and not really messing with the other things. If you ask me if I'm okay with that, I probably am now, because when he had his hands in the offense, it didn't get any better. So,
and that's it. It's just you. That's a good point, Jeremy. You mentioned Sarkisian and you mentioned Lincoln Riley. It's hard to even know who the offensive coordinators are in that. They have a title of it, but we all know who's really scheming all that stuff up.
Less of BV's.
There are guys that have titles.
Less of BV's hands in more places may not be a bad thing.
Hey, and real quick, quick.
I said it.
Real quick, Talon says, hey, Talon, here's what I'll say to this whole thing. First off, everything's speculation until you hear it from the horse's mouth, okay? And
Correct.
Nobody's heard from Alley. Nobody's heard from BV. Nobody knows really what's going on. But as far as that goes, I do think, yes, there were a lot of times that Alley got to do probably what he wanted to do. But I also think there's probably times where BV says, I don't know, maybe Alley's a really young guy and thinks he's ready for everything and thought he wanted to go full bore, and BV just wasn't ready to relinquish full control of that. I don't know, guys. This is all speculation. All speculation.
Hey, the portal window is officially closed right now, except it's kind of like some grammar rules in English. There's 9,000 exceptions. And one of the exceptions is if the head coach leaves. It has nothing to do with position coaches. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hunter. It's all head coaches. Also, 5 days removed from your bowl game. Also, if you're a playoff team, you have extra days. Also, this, and this. I mean, we go on and on.
Hey, Okie Lawn, thanks for joining tonight. Says, what does that say about the state of the program when Eichert is saying that about BV? Well, I don't really care what people say about state of the program right now. They've had two out of 3 seasons been losing records. They haven't won a bowl game in 4 years. Obviously, there's issues. Okay, they have issues. What can they do before next year to change the narrative? That's all I care about right now.
There's
how
one
can
right
they start
now
winning games? What?
There's one right now you could do. Jerry just mentioned it. Bye-bye to Joe John Finley and DeMarco Murray. That would change a little.
Well, I'm not on here to say who should be fired and who shouldn't.
I'm not either, but Jay, but I just did. The Joe John Finley still on staff is mind-blowing.
And Bobby, if you go off recent history, you're correct. And I would love to know, and let's ask this question tonight. I'm going to ask it. What tells you that next year is going to be 8-4, 9-3? Tell me a reason.
Nothing right now, Jay.
And I'd love for people to actually, if they think it will be, tell me. I'd love to know.
So what have they done to change the narrative? One is they brought in Arbuckle and Mateer.
Correct. That's going to help.
That is going to change the offense. I don't think anyone thinks otherwise. The offense should be better. Okay, that's changing the narrative on offense. Now on defense, now the question is how good can they be on defense? Well, I will say this: I love Zac Alley. I love what he brought. I love the energy. But I do think that this defense still has a lot of talent. They have a lot of young guys. And if the worst case scenario is BV is in charge of the defense and that's all his hands are, all where his hands are, I guess I'm as okay with that as what happened this year.
Yeah, and I saw Bobby put that in earlier about not hire. I mean, that's the thing Brent Venables does best is coach defense. I mean, everybody knows that. The problem is, how do you also lead a program? That's my issue. How do you coach the defense and lead a program? Because quite frankly, in 3 years, hasn't really led the program that well.
Yeah.
If you look at it.
I know people are commenting on my outfit. I got a Zoom call tonight after the live talking about.
Are you putting your name in the DC hat?
No, just portal stuff. Want my take on state of college football. So I'm going to give it. It's bad. That's where it is. Someone asked earlier. It's bad. You got guys leaving at halftime. Just bad look. I give it up to Shedeur Sanders. Sticking that whole thing out last night.
What do you mean?
Could have just stopped at half. They were getting blown out.
Yeah. Hey, Eric, though, I'm just saying it doesn't happen. You can do it, but I don't want to compare that because Lincoln Riley hasn't done anything in the last 3 years either. So I don't know. I think it's hard to do. Can it be done? Yes. I mean, you look at it. Steve Sarkisian, I mean, the offense seems to be doing it. To do that, guys.
Jay,
wait. To do that, yeah, I can put my hands up if I want to. Maybe if Brent Venables was like a 10-year head coach and kind of, but this is his first gig. I mean, it's hard to do.
That's the difference, Jay. I was just getting ready to say that. It can happen in a lot of places. The problem is the wheels are falling off. Usually when the wheels are falling off of something, there's wholesale changes on a lot of things. I mean, look, my 07 Odyssey lights up like a Christmas tree on the dashboard. I'm always putting air in those tires. I mean, you know the best fix I could have for that thing, Jay, before my son drives it next year?
Why don't you just trade it in?
Exactly. Get a new car.
Hit the portal. Hit the car.
I'm going to keep fixing it. I'm going to keep makeshift fixing it. And that kind of feels like what OU's doing in a lot of ways.
Jerem, sometimes it can't be fixed.
Yeah, I agree. But this 07 Odyssey next year, Jay, it's going to be the real deal. I'm going to put a little money into it. It's going to be rocking. That's what we heard about 2 weeks ago. We're going to give Brent Venables everything he needs. Well, he needs a DC because he's gone. He needs a lot of talent, and I don't know.
Yeah, and I see Believe and Be Saved today. Says Teddy said today when he was with Gabe, he would be the linebacker coach if OU offered, and he would still do the podcast. Hey, Doug Gottlieb still does a radio show, and he's a head coach, basketball. But perfect analogy, somebody said, Jerem.
Adam, I talked to someone today about Dillingham. I love Dillingham. Bobby mentioned last night, though, it's his home area. Alma mater, and he loves that. So I don't know that he's going to leave. Seems to be a perfect fit for Arizona State, too.
Hey, Mr. B, and we're going to have the phone lines open later, but I would love for you to tell me, in your opinion, what makes you so confident that the wheels aren't falling off?
So are they just flat right now? Are the tires just flat? They're not off yet? No blowouts?
Hey, I'd love to be optimistic. It's hard for me right now. 2 6 and 7 seasons in 3 years. What makes I hope to goodness that next year's way better. I'm just wondering.
I don't know how much tread is on these tires, Jay. I don't know how much tread's left. We're on rims. We are on rims, Sooner for Life says.
Yeah, and
that's Chester Carter's tagline, Sooner for Life.
Hey, Adam, it's a big loss. It's a big loss.
Agreed.
Mr.
B, it's not about roster. It's not about roster. Listen, if the worst of OU's issues right now, Jay and Mr. B and everyone, was roster turnover, I'd be happy. And to me, the roster turnover is the smallest issue they have. There hasn't been roster turnover is not a big deal right now.
I don't think it's a player issue right now as much as it is coaching.
Agreed.
And the reason I can sit here and say that is because this is they've played 3 years and they've had 6 or 7 different coordinators between offense and defense. That's not normal. That's not normal.
So what's the biggest issue, Jay? Mr. B's asking.
In my opinion, biggest issue, okay, is can it change? It possibly could. So I'll preface it with that. But out of 3 years, even when they had the best offense they've had in the 3 years, that was under Jeff Lebby year 2, right? Even when their defense had gotten better in year 2 under Brent Venables, they still lost 2 games on the easiest schedule. They lost to Kansas and Oklahoma State. They had no business losing that games. I think there's a overall lying a factor in this whole situation. And to me, it starts at the top, and it might start with maybe it's the organization of the whole practices, coaches, what you're doing now, what you're doing then. I don't know. There's something missing, in my opinion, to have 7 coordinators in 3 years. There's something. If you like what you're doing, you're not going to go through seven coordinators in 3 years. Who does that? Something's missing there, is it not?
It is. And hey, if you're talking about roster turnover, Tennessee right now may have the biggest roster turnover in the SEC, and they went to the playoff this year. And by the way, I think OU had more talent than a lot of the teams they play. If OU would have only lost to the teams that they had less talent than, quote, less talent than, I don't think Sooner fans would be saying this right now. They lost to teams that had way less talent than they did.
Bobby, I disagree. Last year in the Big 12, they lost to Kansas and OSU. Okay? Way better talent, both of those guys.
Navy was not more talented than OU.
No.
Houston and Tulane, who OU barely beat, was not more talented.
Could have lost those games. Is it a personnel issue? Is it a player issue?
It's a lack of playing the right guys sometimes, Jay.
Do they not have enough Jimmies and Joes?
I don't think they play enough of the Jimmies and Joes. Now, this year, though, the offense totally was decimated. The Jimmies and Joes were hurt. A lot of the Jimmies and Joes were hurt on offense. I'll say that, but still.
Hey, injuries were they mattered this year. I agree with that.
They mattered. It was a big deal.
Here's my thing, Jerm. And you know me, I do this all the time. So take it with the grain of salt, whatever you want to say. But I compare it to business all the time because it is a business. I promise you, if you go look at most organizations that have high turnover rate, there's a problem. There's an issue.
Are you talking about turnover rate in the coaching staff or the players?
Yes, turnover personnel-wise.
In the coaching staff or the players?
7 coordinators in 3 years.
I agree with that.
There's an issue there, is there not? I mean, how can you not say it?
I agree. I was just going to say, if you're going to talk about players, because for me, players are leaving everywhere. To me, they're chasing money, and that's one thing. Coordinators, you're right, Jay.
You know why it's another big issue there is, let's go down the list of people they've hired. Ted Ruth, who's he a friend of?
Brent Venables.
Gone. Zac Alley, who's he a friend of?
Brent Venables.
He left. Seth Luttrell, boom. Joe John Finley, boom. Jeff Lebby, boom. And they're friends and they left? Something's wrong there.
Keith, that's never going to happen. I mean, that's just, it's not going to happen. Which one of the and here's the deal. I know what you're asking because, and I saw Barry Trimble did a kind of a piece about this. I thought he was spot on a lot of things, but Joe John isn't gone yet. But
he hasn't left.
You're saying he's not the coordinator. You're saying he's not the coordinator anymore, Jay.
Yeah, and Mr. B, here's what I'll say. Out of all those people, I was super glad Ted Ruth left.
I was sad to see Jeff Lebby go.
I was sad to see Lebby go. I was just didn't the Luttrell hire. I'm sad. I'm glad they got rid of him because it didn't work out. But it's just to me like it just seems like something's amiss, man. I don't know. Okay, and I get it, mess. They did. You are absolutely right. Who hired him? You're right about that, mess. They were awful. Who hired him?
I would assume BV did, but I don't know if he did, Jay.
I would assume.
Yeah, Seth McGowan is in the portal again.
No, I think he withdrew his name right after he did it.
Oh, really?
I believe so. Check it out. Maybe Hunter can. Yeah, he withdrew. That's why.
He withdrew his name. Wow. Man, are we ready for the phone line, Sooner Nation?
Hey, let's go, Jeremy.
Surgeaholics, are you ready to rock and roll with the phone lines? Hey, shout out to the Fan Stop, thefanstop.com. New Year's around the corner, and it's time for you to get the Shirt of the Month Club, okay? Sign up for the Shirt of the Month Club. Use code SURGE. Get 10% off your first 3 months. That'd be January, February, March. Great prices, great apparel, thefanstop.com.
Hey, and you know what, Jerm? And you know this, we talk all the time. I absolutely love Brent Venables. I do.
I love Greavy.
I love him. I want this to work out, but I also want to win football games as a fan. And to me, if you make the hire, it's on you. You made a bad hire, and that's like 3 or 4 now. So that's all I'm saying. And I know they're not going to fire him. He's got another year, but I'm just saying, what tells you it's going to be better next year? That's what I'm trying to get from people. What do you think? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
I like some of the young talent, Jay, and I like some of the offensive changes. Let's get to Platoon 20.
Hey, what's up, guys? When I think back to BV is when I look at him through the lens of being a CEO, head coach. To me, it feels like his time at Clemson was, even though he was a great DC, it doesn't seem like he learned anything there from Dabo, right? I mean, he was how long was he there? It was at least 10 years, right? And Dabo, say what you will, I mean, he's had double-digit wins for like 95% of the seasons there. He's got 2 national titles, so he's obviously doing something right. It just feels like to me that, I don't know, for whatever reason, BB, maybe he just focused on defense and didn't do anything else, but it just seems like he didn't learn anything from what Dabo was doing. I don't know. That's just my impression. He seems totally mystified by what it takes to do at the head coach level, especially with recruiting coaches and mentoring coaches. He doesn't seem to have picked up any of that from Dabo at all, so I don't get that.
Well, and I can attest to the mentoring part. I think some of the things he took from him probably were just culture-wise, maybe. That's probably the biggest thing is culture-wise. But hey, when BV was his best at OU was when he had someone like Mike Stoops, and they argued the entire time. There was friction there. It wasn't a bad deal.
No, it wasn't a bad deal. So, hey, we got Keith on the line. What's up, Keith?
Thanks, Platoon.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing good, man. You?
Oh, I'm fine. This is the first time for me. I've been watching your show a long time and enjoy the heck out of both of you guys.
I appreciate it.
But, this whole mess with the dumpster dive at OU, it breaks my heart to see the program going down the way it is. And I love Brent Venables, and I just think he's been dealt a pretty rotten deck of cards. I don't know why Zac Alley decided to bail on him, but I think he's going to get the ship turned around, get another good guy in there to run the defense, if not himself. And with John Mateer and Ben Arbuckle, get this offense going. It'll be a whole different year next year.
Hey, Keith, let me ask you a question. And you say you don't know why Zac Alley left, and I get it. Nobody knows yet, but what makes you think next year is going to be different than the previous 3 years?
I guess just intrinsic hope. I just
can't argue that. Intrinsic hope, you can't argue.
I mean, you got the tradition of Oklahoma. You've got a lot going for the university, and with the right hires, I don't know. I even commented that maybe they ought to just demote Brent Venables to defensive coordinator and hire a new head coach. Get rid of Joe C at the same time, as well as a lot of some of the other assistants. I can't stand Bill Beatonbow. I don't care what they say about him. If proof is in the pudding, his offensive lines have stunk for the last several years. I think he's lost his magic. Get in a different offensive line coach. But, there's systemic problems at the university, but I think they're going to get it turned around.
Hey, that's all we can hope for. That's all I'm hoping for as a fan. But
yeah, appreciate the call, Keith, and the hope that you're giving out here to Sooner Nation. Thanks for calling in. Hey, Jay, look, a school teacher for 20 years. I live on intrinsic things. That's like my that's the thing that keeps me going in my job is the intrinsic reward and hope and all that. I get that. I love that. What's going to be different next? And look, for some reason, Jay, I get an image right now. I don't think this is a false thing, what I'm about to say. BV, you know how they lock arms before the game? They're walking with the players.
Yeah.
I envision they're in a stranded desert island. They're about to. There's no water. They can't. They're just about to be done. And my image is BV locking with the players. Now, what's the deal with the staff? That's the question.
Hey,
the players seem to be. They're going to lock. I mean, that's one thing that I would say can still give everyone hope. People aren't coming out and saying BV. I mean, to me, and that's not sunshine pumping. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Well, and I see Johnson's comment. Johnson, appreciate you joining us tonight. And Johnson's on here all the time, and he's not wrong in this. In the workforce, a lot of times, more time than not, people quit because of their boss, not their job, and that's true. Yeah, some people may hate their job, but a lot of time, if your boss is good, you'll stick it out. So yeah, Lewis Carter not locking arms, he's out of there.
And the players didn't like it, Jay. Some of the players are commenting on it.
Hey, and I get that. And I know the caller, I think, talked about tradition, and I don't want to get into a whole rant on this, but tradition isn't as big of a deal as it used to be for players. I know it is for fans. I get it. But some players, it's just not.
And Mr. B said, aside from Alley, the staff changes have been decisions made by, and were necessary. I 100% agree with you. The changes were necessary. The only one I would disagree with is Jeff Levy. Now, it was necessary maybe for other reasons, but to me, I agree that the other decisions that should have been made. But the problem was, why are you having to make those decisions and get rid of guys so quickly when the answer is you hired the wrong guys.
Well,
hired the wrong guys.
The issue is this. This is year 2 of the SEC, and it's second year of the SEC. The OU is going in with a new offense coordinator, new defense coordinator. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Hey, let's get to Greg. What's up, Greg?
Hey, what's up, fellas? And love the sport coat, Germ.
Thanks, man.
Very dapper. Very dapper. So wasn't it just a few weeks ago, all of us were on here kind of complaining that maybe Brett Venables doesn't have enough control, that he's delegating too much, and that he should try to sink his claws into more of the team than he has. And now tonight we're like saying the exact opposite.
Well, I'll tell you why. I'll give my opinion why, Coconut. Because he did that this year. And guess what? It was worse than last year when his hands weren't in it.
True. Very true.
Well, I don't think – listen, I don't know how much reign he gave Alley. He may give him a lot. I don't know. I just think there's a reason why Alley left. And that's all. I don't know. I don't want to speculate. But do you think he really left because money? I just don't see that.
Let me ask you, Coconut. If you would say, I want BV to focus on one thing, what would you want him to focus on?
I would want him to probably, if he's going to be the one in charge of the defense, he needs to be solely in charge of the defense and let someone else worry about the offense.
I agree. If you say, what do I want BV to do? And the one thing to do, I'm saying, get over there and coach the defense. Don't worry about anything else.
Yeah. One last point here. So with Zac Alley leaving, the way I see it, I mean, it's bad for just the optics of it. The timing of it is bad. And also it hurts our continuity. We can't seem to get that down at all in the last 3 years or so. But besides all that, how much of an impact could he have really had on this team? I mean, he was here less than 12 months. He didn't recruit a single player. Correct. We don't know if he was really calling plays or not. I mean, are we really going to, I guess, see negative effects from this? I'm not sure. I don't know, but
hey, to me, and I said this, I think in a text earlier to you, Jerm, it's not the fact that he's leaving. I don't think it's going to hurt the team coaching wise that much. I think the issue is just the whole narrative of what's going on for people to keep leaving. There's something else. Yeah. There's something causing people to leave. And I see Adam's comment, Alley would have always been in BV's shadow. That's why he left. Then why did he come? He knew he would be in BV's shadow.
Well, maybe he didn't really know. He's not worked with him as a head coach until now. I mean, he was always a coordinator somewhere else. So when you really give someone that power, maybe they turn into someone that you didn't see in the past. Yeah. Just a thought. But
that's right.
Hey,
thanks, guys.
Greg.
Always.
Hey, I'm going to go back to something. I know I talk about my photographic memory a lot, but I'm going to go back to last night's live show and something that was said in the chat by, I believe, the Force. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Force, but I believe the Force said it. I love Forrest quote. I love my dad, and I hated to work. I would hate to work for him. Jay, we're the same way. I would never want to work for my dad. I love him to death.
I did. Yeah, I did.
I believe it was the Force that said that last night. S to G would like the phone number. It's not a phone number. It's a StreamYard link. It's pinned at the top of the chat.
Man, there is something I'm going to have to come up with this again because it was on the tip of my tongue. I was wanting to talk about it, and now I can't find it. So I'll come back to it. Oh, I know what it was. Hunter. I don't know if you can drop it for me, if you have time to look at it. A couple of days ago, there was an outstanding tweet from Caden McFarland. Hunter, I don't know if you can find it, but it talked about Brent Venables, had to do with the way he talks at the media. It was a great tweet. I wish I had it on my phone. I could just drop it in, but I don't. Hunter, if you can find it, if you think it'd be worth putting in there, let me know. I just vaguely remember it. I thought it was good. But Fanstop says, I was for Lebby's when he was first hired. However, I thought it was a little too gimmicky. And I think a lot of people thought maybe they go too fast for the SEC or whatever. But Perryman, I agree with this. I know he didn't like recruit.
He only was there a year.
He didn't really have a chance to.
He barely got the shoes on and the gear on. Like he barely got all his coach's gear. Hey, I see people talking about OU basketball. Yeah. Until they do it in the I am a believer right now of this team, but until I see it in the SEC.
They're not going to be a favorite in that game. So
no, they won't be a favorite in
the key is you got to win the next game.
You got to win the next one. You got to win the home game right
home game against A&M.
Got to beat A&M at home. But it's I think they're going to have good crowds this year at the LNC. I do know that. Someone says I'm confused. This year's offense was more gimmicky than '99. Well, there wasn't.
I don't know what
gimmick.
this year's offense.
There wasn't a lot of gimmick until Joe John Finley kind of started calling it.
I don't know what it was, to be honest with you.
I do. Abysmal, as Fanstop said. Abysmal is what it was.
Yeah.
There's the link, I think.
I think he put the link in here, but I can't click on it. But Arbuckle has a chance. Arbuckle has a chance to. I think the offense will be fine next year. I think they'll score points. I'm to the point is, okay, say you score average 30 to 32 points a game. There'll probably be a game where you allow 40 and lose. I don't know. I'm just not. I'd love to have hope and yeah, but 9 wins next year. I'm just trying to figure out how you're going to get there. What's going to be a lot better to get you 9 wins? I think the offense will be better. I do.
The intrinsic hope has to be on Arbuckle Mateer just flipping the script on offense. Okay, flipping the script on offense, and then defense doing what they did this year. That's what you got to hope.
Yeah. You're right.
Jay, if the offense flips the script and the defense is what they were this year, OU should be much improved.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and Mr. B's asking, if we score points, do you think the defense is going to give it more? It's not about that, Mr. B. Go back to last year in the Big 12. They should have never lost. After they beat Texas, they lost 2 games they shouldn't have lost. That's what I think is going to happen. Until I see it proved differently, they're going to lose games they should win. There's going to be maybe one game the offense is good and the defense is not as good. Maybe the next game the defense is really good and the offense doesn't do anything. I don't know. I just feel like until I see it on the field under Brent Venables, how can I sit here and say, yeah, it's going to be a lot better? That's all I'm saying.
I would love I think he's got to be 8-4 minimum. But hey, I would love Jay, I would love to kind of go through this because defensive line, R. Mason Thomas, of course, it was hinted that he was coming back. He's been hush, zipped up since then. So I don't know if he's coming back, okay? But if he comes back, the defensive line is going to be as good as they were. That they are. They still have Todd Bates. They have better. Their talent is great at defensive line. The defensive line should be as good or better. Okay?
It should be, yeah, I agree.
Linebacker, you miss Danny Stutzman. You're going to miss Danny Stutzman. Okay? I would love to get Kendall Daniels out of the portal. I think he'd be great. He's a veteran guy and an uber talented guy. You go to the back end, that was the weakness for OU was the back end, and you lose Billy Bowman. So why am I screaming? I'm just talking about sports.
Hey, real quick though, I got to answer Fanstop. I'm not saying they're going to allow 40 points next year. I'm not saying that at all. I think the defense will be pretty good next year. I'm saying there will be a game where the defense doesn't do as good. And I'm just saying, based on the first 3 years under Brent Venables, it's hard with the schedule they have next year to tell me they're going to go win 9 games. That schedule is brutal. That's all I'm saying. I feel like there's going to be something amiss, and they're not going to get 9 wins.
Chuck, I agree. Lewis Carter, it's a big miss, man. Big hurt.
Hey, I think we got a caller on the line.
Who we got?
Sooner Boy, what's up?
What's going on, fellas?
What's going on?
Yeah, again, I hate to harp. I know we're not firing Venables, but
No.
he's not going to get it done, brother. I mean, I don't have any confidence that he's the right guy. He wasn't my guy from the get go, but the powers that be in Oklahoma, the way the state is run, the way the fan base is. I got into it with a national championship player. I'm not going to name his name online at his own podcast last night because I called out the team on the 2000 team that they would have gotten beaten by Miami, and they would have. There's nobody in the world that thinks that this particular Oklahoma program, the way it's run, even with Venables there, would have beaten that Miami team in 2000. That's the same team that beat Florida State too, and they scored way more points. I know Josh Heupel was hurt, but different kind of programs run different kind of ways. We don't excite people. Want to be excited. These players are pro style players. They want to be in pro systems. They don't want to be in Venable run systems, fellas. It's that simple.
Hey, wait. If that's true,
I mean, I'm not trying to, brother. Look at the NFL. Tell me which Clemson player from Venables is an All-Pro right now. Just tell me. Right now, from Clemson.
I'm not following it enough, but my point is, you can't say the players don't want to follow him. That's the biggest thing they have going for him right now. Right? They're not jumping ship.
Some of it is NIL.
Hey, let me ask you this: if BB
I don't see. Do you see top 5 players? Do you see top 100 players say, you know what, Oklahoma's going to be my destination over Alabama, over Georgia, over Michigan? It ain't happening. It's not happening, brother.
David Stone,
Fasusi.
Brother.
You asked.
I'm just telling you guys, man, that it just he ain't it. Oklahoma's not a destination. He's not. Oklahoma's not a destination school anymore.
Hey,
they're just not.
Hey, thanks for the call, but guess what? No one's a destination school. Guys are leaving every year. They're just jumping ship. There's no destination schools. There's only money. And
give me your money.
Give me the money. And hey, I don't know why we're bringing up a 2000 game when OU shut out Winky. And by the way, you pretty much said exactly who you were calling out when you said it was a former national championship who has a podcast. Like, how discreet can you be? My point is this. My point is this. Players, look, if BB was fired tonight, guess what would happen? Mass exodus. Players would be following. They'd be gone. Now, they wouldn't be following BB because he wouldn't be getting another job. But to say that players don't follow him, that's the biggest thing he's got going for him.
Hey, and Jerm, Sooner Boy, I know you're not on there anymore, but obviously, I don't know if you've been watching this tonight, but I have by no means said that Brent Venables is going to get it turned around next year. I mean, if you've been watching it all, maybe you have. I don't know. But the other thing is this. I saw it. I don't have the comments too far back, but Adam George put it in here. I love this comment. It's, I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but it had something to do with, I hope I'm pulling for BB to get it done next year. But will he? I don't know. Nobody knows. I think if you're looking at the last 3 years, you'd have to say probably not. I mean, I'm just basing it off that. I mean, what guys, just please take them off real quick. I don't have glasses on. Take off the crimson glasses for a second. Please step back away. Listen, take your glasses off and just listen for a second. If this was any other school not named OU, and they had 2 6 and 7 seasons, haven't won a bowl game in 3 years, specifically a team on the other side of the Red River, everybody near would say, no chance they're going to 9-3 in the playoff next year. In fact, everybody would be saying, keep Brent Venables, because it's going to make Texas.
Now,
Texas is probably saying, keep Brent Venables.
Hey, and I agree. I messed up. It could have been another podcaster that won a 2000. I mean, there's a couple. I guess I messed up on that. But hey, Jay, you're right. You are right on that. And what I was saying, but to say that I don't think the destination stuff is gone.
Like, yeah, I agree with that.
That
Tradition's
is out
gone for the
window.
players. Tradition, they don't care about tradition.
Yeah,
anymore.
there's one destination, Benjamin Franklin's. Jeez. And I don't follow
no.
Clemson players to see.
Chuck, what are you talking about? I've been on it every day for 365 days. I haven't been sunshine pumping. I've been having my glasses off all year. What are you talking about, Chuck? Call in, Chuck. What are you talking about?
Jay, I guess he's saying you haven't been a BV questioner until now.
You got more sunshine glasses on than I do, and that's by far true.
Wow. Yeah. I wasn't burning up in the jacket, actually. I did take it off, though. It's cold out here in this room that I'm in. It's cold out here. But I did take it off. Yeah, Jay, we're sunshine pumpers. That's what we do here, huh? Give me the most money is the destination nowadays. I agree.
Hey, and right here, listen, this comment right here by the hub, dead on, because you know what? Next week, let's just give me a random school. Give me a random school that's power conference.
Random school that's a power conference?
Michigan. Throw one out there.
Michigan.
Oh, come on. They're a bigger name than I. Give me a smaller name.
You didn't say small. You said random.
Okay, I'll give you one. Northwestern.
Okay.
If Northwestern tomorrow said, hey, we got $50, $60 million, we're going to pay whoever we want to pay, you know what's going to happen? They're going to get a lot of players. And nobody cares about Northwestern football, but they would get a lot of players.
Wanted Chuck to call in. Here he is. What's up, Chuck? It's a good movie, by the way.
What's up, man? How are you tonight?
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, Jay. The only thing that I was saying was that, all year people have been, second guessing BV. And I don't recall you really, second guessing, what BV is doing and what his future holds. But now it seems like, you're really putting him up to the measuring stick and really second guessing if he's really the man, if he's the one to lead the Sooners in the future.
Well, I've been saying it probably since halfway through the season.
Now, if you want to say that I haven't, I'll say this. Until the last 2 or 3 weeks, because to me, there's been several things that have happened even since then with, of course, you got the Alley thing. To me, there's been more things that show that there's bigger issues. And I have been one to say, I'm not sure that this can get turned around. I love the Arbuckle get, but the fact that Joe John Finley is still there, the fact that Zac Alley leaves, some things are not making sense to me. I have kind of
well, okay, and then that's I want to speak on that real quick to you, Jay, on that situation. I think you answered your question by saying, did he really have full control? And if that's his goal, because we all have goals in life, and if that was his goal to have full control over a defense, and then here's a guy that's given him an opportunity to do that at West Virginia, someone who he's worked with before.
Agreed.
And he must have liked to work with him and say he gets the whole control over the defense on what is called in that 3 front, or that 3 strong safety, format that he likes to run.
Yeah.
BV might not be all into that like he is, and he probably wants to run it, more than what BV does. So, I don't blame. So it might not, Chuck, it might not look as bad. It might not look as bad as we think it does. It's the only thing that I'm saying. It looks bad from a PR perspective.
Hey, that's right, Chuck. I think you're dead on it. It does look bad for a PR perspective. Listen, I'm with you, Chuck, on Zac Alley leaving. I don't blame if he wants to leave and he feels better at West Virginia. He feels like he's. I'm always say like go do what you want to do for you and your family. I think that's great. But I'm saying for the whole narrative to go hire him and then he's already gone. Maybe if he thought that might be the case, he probably shouldn't have hired him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Well,
Yeah, bad look, bad look. But then again, when he got hired, this guy didn't. He wasn't. He didn't get hired as a head coach at West Virginia. So it's not something that he foreseen. So yeah, he got hired at OU, but then this guy comes, gets a full time, head coaching job at West Virginia. Well, then there's a door of opportunity.
yeah, it's a good opportunity for him. It is. It really is.
It is. I don't question that. I don't like how he left. I thought, from what I
Right.
heard, that's pretty weak. I don't like how it went down. And second of all, for people that are saying, I'm glad he's gone because, I didn't like his scheme. It was BV's scheme. Let's get this. It was BV's scheme. I don't understand that.
And he related to the young players too. A lot of the players did say that they liked him.
Loved him.
Yeah.
Oh, players love him. Yeah, he brought great energy. I liked him.
Hey, Chuck, thanks for calling in, man. Didn't mean to just call you out.
No, you're all good, buddy.
Man. You called in. You're like, I'll call in.
You're my favorite twins. You're my favorite twins.
Oh, I thought you were going to say favorite twin.
He did mean
probably
twin.
the only twins he knows.
Jeremy, he meant twin, not twin.
Oh, well, let me correct that. I do have some relatives that are twins, so you're not my
good.
favorite. You're not my favorite twins, but one of my favorite twin sets. Put it that way.
There we go. Appreciate it, man. Have a good night, Chuck.
All right, buddy.
Hey,
Chester, the phone lines are open. Chester, the phone lines
they're
are
open, bro. Call in. Question Crystal says, who wanted BV so bad that when he's well, I know a lot. Listen, you're not the only one. There's a lot of people that have brought up Joe C. I have no clue on Joe C. I just don't know.
Hey, wait, real quick, Michael. BV also ran 3.35 a lot. Am I wrong, Jay?
He ran a lot at Clemson, yeah.
Yeah, and second of all, Greg God, I can't. First off, Jay, all of it's been speculation. I thought Alley was calling the defense, Jay. I said it.
He might have been, John. I don't know.
The fact that Greg God's going to go find something in a Discord of what I said is hilarious again. I can't believe I have that much, I guess, power where you're going to go find something and try to call me out on it.
He can,
I could be wrong on that. I need to find my sign. I've been wrong a lot.
He can, though. Hey, we got Chester, the one and only Chester on the line. What's up, Chester?
Hey, it's going to be really boring this time, so maybe you shouldn't even do it. But you remember when I was harping about Beat 'em Bo's recruiting since 2018?
Uh-huh.
Well, I actually went back through it, and I've wrote down the guys he recruited each season. I didn't include transfers, and I didn't include star ratings. I just got the guys' names down, and then I graded these personally, and I wanted to see what you all think about it. Okay. Or is that going to be too long and boring?
Shoot, go for it.
Okay, 2018. Remember, that's when I said, let's look back since then on his recruiting, right?
Yeah.
Bray Walker, I thought he was going to be great. Never saw him play.
No.
Traymonda, I guess that's his name, Moore. Don't even remember him. Daryl Simpson, meh.
No.
David Swaby,
nope.
No idea.
Yeah.
So I consider that class a fat L, personally. 2019. Stacy Wilkins.
Yeah.
No, I don't really remember him.
I know where this is going, Chester. I know exactly where this is going.
Hang on. EJ. Now, this is hard to say. EJ Nadoma Ogre? No idea. Marcus Alexander? No idea. Finley Felix? Absolutely no idea. That's a huge L in my opinion. 2020. Now, this is a good class because of one player. This is Andrew Rain. I thought he was average. Nate Anderson, don't remember him.
No, he
Aaron Parks was serviceable.
He's okay.
Noah Nelson, meh. But Anton Harrison was in this class, and I think Harrison is a great one.
Stud, yeah.
I think he's one of the greatest left tackles we've ever had, personally.
Yeah. But I think
So
everybody, I think it's the last
because of
few years he's been
Anton,
good.
I give this class a W, but the rest was garbage.
Hey,
2021.
yeah, go ahead.
Now this is where you guys. This is what me and Eric had brought up before. Okay. Now he brought in some transfers. I can't remember which ones it was. You know,
Those
but whatever.
count. Those count.
This
So
is what he
far, though,
recruited.
3 NFL guys so far. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. This is what he recruited in 21. Savion Byrd, I thought he was amazing, but he never played. And Colin
Played in the playoff
Montgomery.
this year. Played in the
Colin
playoff.
Montgomery, I don't even know who that is. 2022. That was it, by the way. 2022. To me, it's to be determined. Is Jake Taylor and Jacob Sexton.
Yeah, to be determined.
They're injured all the time, so we don't know.
Chester, I get the facts that you're spitting here, as someone said in there. So all the guys that played on OU's O-line those years.
Yeah.
Who got those
23,
guys?
Caden Green. No, hang on. I'm getting to a pattern here. 23, Caden Green. Great player. We let him go. Josh Bates. Thought he was decent. Maybe not great. We let him go. We got Logan Howland and Heath Ozida. So I'll call this class a win, even though we let the best player go, Green. And 24, we don't know because he didn't play any of them other than EPL, about 3 snaps.
How did OU in 2018, 19, 20 have really good lines? I'm confused.
Because that's not because they were seniors then. That was the leftovers from
Somebody
the
coached
Creed
them.
Humphrey
Somebody
years.
Who coached them?
Yeah.
Who coached?
Okay. Yeah.
Hey,
But since
even the
2021,
can't coach
how
or
good
you
has the
can't recruit
lines
your boat.
been? Since 21, how good have they been?
They haven't been as good as Bill
They
Beaton
had
was
a
early.
top 5 offense
Right,
2 years ago, and people think that they were.
That's
crap.
my point exactly. So it's not beaten, Bo. It is the OCs that make the line good. Thank you all.
Okay,
Boomer
then
Sooner
don't fire
Fly.
beat him, Bo.
Hey,
Yes.
hey, Chester, listen, I understand where you're going for. I understand that. And I understand he had some bad recruiting class. I don't think anybody can deny that.
No,
But
that was
you
his
also-
weakness, Jay.
That was his weakness. But you
Now
can
it's
also
his
say,
strength.
but you can also say the last 2 years he had his best recruiting classes he's ever had. So that's true. And I agree, Chester. I agree with what a lot of you said in those names. I agree that they missed on a lot, Chester. I agree with that. Hey,
I agree. The
go
names
back
that
to
were
Michael's.
mentioned did not pan out. They were horrible, Jay. But who got the guys from other schools, like the transfers that came in and played? Why did they come to OU?
I know.
Was it because of beat 'em, Bo?
I don't know. Hey, go back to the comment Michael said about, I guess you guys are right and Teddy's wrong. What is that about? I'm confused.
The 3-3-5, Jay.
Oh, I don't know anything about that. I just said he's played it before. That's all I've said.
I may be wrong. I'm not saying I know more than Teddy Lehman on here. All I said was BV likes the 3-3-5. That was his scheme, wasn't it?
He wanted to play more
Who ran the 3-3-5 at Clemson?
Brent Venables.
Who?
Brent Venables already said that.
So I don't understand how I'm wrong in that. Now, he may know it doesn't work in the SEC.
You are louder than Teddy, Jerm.
Okay.
Yeah. Why'd you put the jacket back on? I'm confused.
I saw requests.
Hey, and I saw John Mahaney asked this earlier. Do we know why Zac Alley left? No, nobody knows. No,
it's funny. I talked to it.
You can speculate. What you're saying, Jerm, what you're saying? Few.
So many assume, so few know.
Yeah, we don't know for a fact. Nobody knows what's fact.
Hey, and Jay, I was going to say, so I talked to, Ohio State guy today. He said if OU fires Bill Beatenbow, he hopes Ohio State goes and gets him now. And the only thing is, I'm fine. I am fine with Bill Beatenbow being let go, whatever. Who you going to bring in? Give me a name that's better than him right now.
I don't. Jeremy,
Maybe the guy at Texas.
They're not getting rid of Bill Beatenbow.
A lot of people wanted the guy at Florida State. He just got canned.
Yeah. And John, yeah.
And don't say Phil Loadhole.
Alley released a statement today about joining West Virginia. Didn't say anything about Oklahoma, though. So, no.
I never said screaming makes me right, guys. I didn't say I was right, actually. And thank you to Chester and Crystal for dropping the Sooner Surge gifting the membership.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, TR, if you don't like it. Hey, I would say I'm sorry, but I don't really care because I can't change who I am. So I apologize if it offends you, if my yelling is just so difficult to watch. Sometimes I try to tone it down, but I get fired up. I'm passionate. We do this every single night. This isn't a facade. I'm not manifesting some kind of energy. This is just who I am. So,
and Dalpos, I'll get trivia for you here in a minute. Jerm, there was something I was going to say in the chat here. Yeah, thank you for this is what it was for the memberships. And also, if you got a membership and you got one of those, please email us soonersurgepod@gmail.com. We'll send you the link for the Discord where you can talk with everybody in the Discord quite a bit. So it's fun stuff. There it is right there. Let me get my trivia real quick, Jerm.
Drop it. Oh, you're going to get it. We got to get, let's see. There's a comment here. Yeah, Texas might win it all. You never know. Hire Saban, 100 mil for 5 years. Yeah, if BV was gone, you'd have to make the call to Saban. But listen, Saban's not getting back into coaching. I mean, he's not going to mess with this NIL. Not going to mess with it at all. Everyone is. I agree. Look, Bill Beaton-Bozer, everyone's replaceable, but I would hope they have a plan in place if that happens. I tell you, one guy, in my opinion, is replaceable, and he's still on staff, is Finley. I'm just shocked right now. Eric says Saban is above you, and I think Saban's above this NIL stuff, period. Club, let's see. Bastiat, Oklahoma cannot afford a $20 million a year coach. Well, I mean, you get the right donors and they option that you could. Hey, Purple Orca, I've got to get this because we talked about it in the Discord. And Chester dropped some absolute facts. So I am as well about Phil Loader.
Here we go.
How long's he been at Colorado? One year. Colorado last year.
Was two. Was it just one?
I think he's just been the O-line coach once. One
Okay.
year. 1 year. Before he was there, which means last year, they were 60th in total offense. Phil Lodeholt comes in, they're 72nd in total offense. Now, they were ranked 132nd in sacks last year, and now they're 125th. By the way, with the two best players in the country on their team on offense, they went down on offense. So, I like Phil Lodeholt. In my opinion, he's not ready to be the offensive line coach at OU right now. I would take Beaton-Bowe over him in a heartbeat. And I bet Phil Lodeholt would say, yeah, Beaton-Bowe's a better line coach than I am. That's not a shocking thing.
Hey, we got a caller. We got Shakur on the line. What's up, Shakur?
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? How are you?
I want to ask y'all. I'm doing all right. I want to ask y'all how y'all felt about it. There was a guy left a comment under the y'all live from last night, and I kind of agree with him. He was basically saying that, you know how y'all was dominant in the Big 12, recruiting everything, especially under Bob Stoops. Y'all did what y'all did. But since moving to the SEC, he was basically saying like a lot of players who want to play in the SEC and they have all these other options of schools like LSU, Texas, Georgia, Florida. A lot of them is not lining up to come to Norman, Oklahoma. How y'all feel about that?
Well, I'll say this. I think not this year because they finished, 16th in recruiting, but the year before they were top. Going into the SEC, they had a really good recruiting class. So I'm not ready to say that yet. I will say the more you throw out 6 and 7 records, the farther away from getting these guys you're going to be, though. I will say that. And I do think, yeah, you got way more competition to recruit against. I agree. I mean, you're getting the Big 12. You could win the Big 12, you're in the playoff. Now you got to finish top 3 in the SEC to make a playoff. It's a big difference. I agree with that, Shakur. I mean, there's a lot more guys to compete with team-wise. LSU, Texas, you can go down the list.
And then somebody, I think another Sooner fan, he was saying that y'all basically not trying to adapt to the new college football. Y'all stuck in the old ways and stuck in the Oklahoma and not adapting how everybody else has to. How you feel about that?
I've said that.
Oh, you said, okay.
The last couple of years, OU's probably went in into the portal thinking we're Oklahoma. These guys will come here. And I agree. They haven't changed that. They still think that mantra is going to work, and it won't.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to jump off. Like, I ain't just saying this because I'm a Texas fan, but I believe moving to the SEC helped us more, especially in recruiting. And I believe, in my opinion, how it's looking right now, it hurt OU moving to the SEC. Because y'all was dominant in the Big 12. Well,
I'll say this, and I think you go back 3 or 4 years, this was not the plan for OU. I don't think they thought Lincoln Riley was going to leave when he left. I think originally they thought Lincoln Riley was going to take them to the SEC originally. That didn't happen. Then they thought BV was going to be the guy to do it, and it didn't work out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just wanted to get y'all opinion on it, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Hey, real quick.
Hey, also, real quick, I got to say something. And I know it's you can't just say it, but the schedule for the first 2 years in the SEC is brutal for OU. It was going to be hard no matter what, and then you throw in just what they've been doing lately. It's just
cards were stacked against them, Jay. I agree.
Well, and Brent Venables against top 25 teams hasn't been good. In close games, they haven't been good. They lose one possession games all the time. So it leads to losses.
Hey, Crystal, thanks for gifting the Center Sergeant Unlimited membership. But real quick, I'm not lowering my standards. I'm saying I think the administration, if he goes 8-4 next year, they're going to keep him.
Hey,
I don't think they would at 7-5, but I don't know how that's upsetting you. I'm not lowering my standards. I want to be in the Natty next year.
Hey, you know what would be nice? And I've said this before, and then I'm going to get to trivia. But you know what would be nice as an OU fan? And maybe this is more of a narrative. I don't know. But I want one time, just one time in the portal for OU to go toe-to-toe with Georgia or Alabama or somebody and win a player out of the portal. I mean, a big time. People will say
Jay,
wait. People will say Mateer. I get it. Mateer. I get it. But he had Arbuckle already here. They had an advantage. I'm saying you don't have an advantage. You're both going after the same guy and win it.
Okay, but Jay, a lot of those guys from Georgia and Bama aren't even going to big-time schools.
No, I know. I'm just saying go toe-to-toe with one of the big boys and win one of those. That's all I'm saying. Dominique Williams, yes. That is one last year. You're right.
Mateer,
I don't count because of the Arbuckle deal. But hey, I agree with you, Mr. B and Bobby. That's a good one. I did not remember that one off the top of my head. That's a good one. But I'd like to see more of that. I want to see more of it. And then, hey, let me get to trivia. Before I do, FanStop, check them out. www.thefanstop.com. Use code SURGE to get 10% off your first 3 months. And I see that, Hunter. Yeah, I know they won Mateer. And that was a big get. It was a huge get. But, okay, here's the trivia. The last time OU won a bowl game, who had the interception for OU in the game?
That was the Oregon game.
It was the Oregon game in which Bob Stoops coached.
Correct.
Who had the interception for Oklahoma in that game?
Did they just have one interception?
One interception.
Definitely not Ricky Dixon.
Not CJ. That's a good guess, Gray God. It's a good guess. It's not him. Not Woody. Not Williams. Not Woody. Nope.
Last time they won a bowl game. No one can remember that, Jay. It's been so long. Hey, and by the way,
not Trey Brown. Not Trey Brown, Mr. B.
Someone Dalpo has said 8-4 could be 8-4 could be a 11-1 in the Big 12, and it probably could, Jay, with OU's schedule. I'm not denying that, but
yeah, I still have not seen the answer yet. Not Parnell Motley. And Adam, I agree with you. I think Mateer is going to be great. I think the offense is going to be really good. I hope it equals 8 to 9 wins. Can it? It could. It's just hard. There it is right there, the answer.
Right.
Justin
Royals.
Sooner for life with the W tonight on trivia. Justin Broyles, the one that everybody wanted to run out of town, got a pick in that game, if you remember.
Been fun, Jay.
It's been a good night.
It's been a good night.
Hey, real quick, I got to ask you, what's up with the globe?
Raise my arms up as high as I can. Are you looking for sweat stains? There's none, dude.
Hey,
speed stick, boys. Speed stick.
Wait,
speed stick. 298. My son wanted this I don't know what the name. It's $12 deodorant. He buys $12 deodorant. I rock with the Speed Stick for $2.98. It gets the job done.
It buys that. Hey, I buy that natural stuff. That natural stuff's a lot better. Hey, Germ, what's up with the Globe?
It's definitely not Mitchum. Jay, I brought the Globe in here tonight. I think it's apropos.
What? Why is it?
OU world is spinning. OU world is spinning right now.
It's yeah. Hey, the question is: 2 days ago, Zac Alley left, or was that just yesterday? Was that just yesterday? Yesterday. Today, Lewis Carter portaled. What's the news tomorrow?
Joe John Finley's gone. I'm calling it right now.
We didn't even talk about it tonight, but the depth at linebacker right now is a little bit concerning. And I know a lot of people are talking. I've heard some stuff on Twitter about Kendall Daniels possibly from Oklahoma State. Maybe you mentioned it a while ago, Jeremy.
That'd be their biggest get outside of Mateer.
But they need some help linebacker-wise. They don't have a whole lot of depth if you want Kanek playing linebacker. I mean, so they need some depth there for sure.
Yeah. Hey, guess what I'm going to do, though, Jay? Tomorrow morning, it's foggy out in Oklahoma. Little chilly on the chilly side of things. I'm going to pull out that 07 Odyssey, hit up over to Quick Trip, put a little air in the tires, okay? It's going to get me through the day. Better knock on some wood. And guess what? It'll be ready, rock and roll the next day. That's what Sooner fans are hoping with OU.
Question for you. Are you bargain shopping just like OU in the portal by getting air in your tires instead of just going to buy new tires?
They don't need new tires. The tread's amazing.
Then why is you losing air on them?
Don't know, Jay.
What? Figure it out.
Yep. That's what Sooner Nation has to do.
Figure it out.
Figure it out, Sooner Nation. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate everyone that's been on here. To all the callers, to all the commenters, to all the ones that have gifted supers, Crystal and Chester. Thanks so much. We're going to be on here tomorrow night. If you like it, hit the like. And we will see you tomorrow night because we do this every night. 9:30. Hit the like. The podcast that tells it like it is. Sooner Surge. Surgeaholics, thanks for being here. See you tomorrow night.